Let us talk about data/info and how it is used against uNative. Unfortunately, uNative C expert, news or from University of ABC. You assume empirical proof. Unfortunately native, it is part of the narrative/propaganda peddling. Hello PPMO ecosystem. This link is circulating. It states at least, so could be higher. 70% of small business affected. There will be volumes more articles of this nature which serve to distort reality. We need to diagnose the problem using real data, our logic and our experience. 1. The biggest problem with such stats is they give the impression natives have made inroads into retail in South Africa. Which is totally not true. 2. What is the definition of black? Chinese, Somali, Pakistani, Nigerian, Zimbabwean, Indian etc. Native. Take a step back. The PPMO covered the use of pressing logic button when information gets confusing. For example, before the unrest and the burning and looting. In your local shopping malls and shopping centers. How many black-owned shops did you know of before looting? Remember, our definition of black is native, Muntu. Native. It may be my personal experience as uMadam. But I knew of none in my environment. Besides few black foreigner shops. So where does this 70% come from? I know of no native Muntu shops in malls. When we talk small business, is this 0 to 5 million turnover? Or are we talking about omama/vendors that have informal stands outside the malls? Parking lots and designated areas outside. But then look at the English as well. It reads 70% of small business affected. It does not say burnt. Given the current situation, we assume burnt. That's where the narrative/propaganda element comes in. It's natural to believe this given current situation. Also affected could mean, I do not feel safe traveling to work or do not feel safe in my workspace. And some of those would have been burnt or damaged, honestly accept that. We have watched over the years where data is clumped together to create certain intended picture in our minds. Let me repeat. This article gives impression black natives occupy 70% plus of small retail business. Which is a lie, not the case. Native. You really need to ask yourself why you political leaders insist on grouping stats. Why they never counter this misleading information with facts. Native. The program is a well-oiled machine that has worked closely with all your leaders from 1994. We have taken standard statistical practices and replaced it with the biggest nonsense. To the natives adding their names to these stats having good intentions, by showing the extent of damage out there. You mean good, but are killing the native Muntu struggle. This is when we should be exposing the inequality, lack of transformation and foreign infiltration. We need to engage the system, current status quo. The politicians/government are enablers of this problem and misinformation. This has nothing to do with xenophobia or discrimination of minorities. It's about realistically and honestly reviewing progress made from 1994. How you have failed your kids and the next native generations. As we rebuild and go back to so-called normal. How are you part of this rebuild? This normal is no longer acceptable, so how are you part of new normal? Apologies to all those whose business have been burnt/destroyed, be strong and resilient. Let's rebuild together. Click on subscribe on the YouTube channel to save our assets, no names, personal details, no cell numbers required. Just click subscribe on the PPMO ecosystem channel and let us build the critical mass required. I know most of you see this, but if not now, you will soon. uMadam here. Awesome, have a great one.